a look at our next stocking stuffer, small caps. The Russell 2000 underperforming the major averages again this year, but with 2,000 stocks in the catalog, there has to be a few good values in there somewhere. Let's ask Stephen DeNichilo. He's portfolio manager at Federated Hermes. Stephen, thanks for coming on. Let's talk just, I think, big picture. You know, you specialize in small caps. It's kind of like they keep pulling the football away. But do you see the makings of any kind of a comeback, or are we still in this mega cap domination?
Sure. I like that Charlie Brown reference. I'm a big fan. I mean, I'm going to use a quote from Mark Twain, and he once said that I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long letter. And I think that same thought process is going on in investing, where investors don't have time to do the work on these small cap idiosyncratic stocks. So it's much easier to focus on these large behemoth companies that have the scale, innovation, and margins that we have never seen before historically. If you look over 100 years, small cap companies have outperformed because small caps are where the innovation happens. Over the last 5 and 10 years, that innovation formula is upside down as the largest companies are generating the most innovation, the most attention, the most liquidity. There's been outflows out of small caps all years. So it's just easier to kick the football if it's a large cap company.
Yeah, innovation and also inefficiency, in theory, is a source of those small cap returns over time. So talk about some of the individual names that you have zeroed in on. Lore Holdings, for one. Talk about this one.
Yes. Look, you just had a previous guest talking about Boeing, and all due respect to Boeing, my one thesis with aerospace is that we will continue to fly planes. Okay. Air travel will continue to go up, whether it's a brand new Boeing airplane and they've just restarted the 737 MAX production, or it is an older plane that needs to be refurbished. Either scenario, Lore Group wins. This is an IPO in 2024. This is probably the best small cap company that I have seen in a long, long time, where they have a combination of a winning management team, extremely high margins, and a, pun intended, runway for growth over the long term. They have proprietary products, very small plugs, washers, valves, et cetera, seatbelts. And they supply those to the aerospace companies. Now, whether it's a new plane or a used plane, you're going to need those parts. They charge a very, very high margin. There's 1 million parts in an airplane that it takes to build this airplane. The largest supplier is TransDigm. They have only a 5% market share. Lore Group is 1/10 of the size. So if you just take a deep breath and say, what do I want to own for the next 10 years? This is something to put in that stocking and win over the long term.
All right. Relatively young stock, but had quite a run before a recent pullback. Sportradar is one I admit to not being aware of, even though I probably see the product all the time.
Look, this is a pick and shovels way to play the proliferation of online gambling. And so they own the data. They own the data for Major League Baseball, the NHL, the NBA, et cetera, and they sell that data to DraftKings. And so if you believe there will be more sports betting in the future than today, Sportradar is a profitable way to play it. They came public at a terrible time. At the peak of the small caps in 2021, the stock is down about 40% from that IPO price. A lot of people have lost money in this company. But if you forget the IPO price and look what they have done over the last 3 years, they have slowly grown profitability 30% a year, and they have twice the EBITDA today than when they came public with a stock that is down 40%. That is a microcosm of what's going on in the small cap market, guys. Nobody's paying attention to these companies that are doing what they said they're going to do. They've just had a tough print in 2021 when there was this little bit of mania.